Hey, my name is Yolanda, and welcome to Frank Factualities, the podcast. Tune in each week as I speak frankly about life experiences from my perspective and offer you a bit of unsolicited advice. Let's take a little time to laugh, to think, and to cry as we tackle some serious topics and some not so serious topics. Be sure you subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Hey, welcome to Frank Factualities, the podcast. My name is Yolanda. Thank you all for tuning in for another week, for another episode. I really appreciate each and every one of you all. Thank you for listening. What's going on with me? As I tell you every week, is work, work, and more work. I don't have any more events, so I think I'm good with that. I attended this birthday party that was non alcohol. That was a little stressful because I got all dressed up and I did not have the opportunity to drink. So we left early. And that's how that went, and got something to drink and something to eat. So that's what we did. What have you all been doing? I hope all is well. Um, that's it. That's the update for me. Nothing much. We're going to get straight into street talk. Now, I don't know how many of you follow hip hop, but it's been this big old thing since Drake has dropped his album. I am a hip hop girl, so I do like to listen to hip hop. I like battle rap. I like all kind of just grimy, just stuff. So that is what I like. Anyway, they've been getting on him about his immaturity and how his music has not evolved, but the people that are doing it are either non-rappers or either people who are washed up. So Joe Button, if you guys know, he has a podcast, and he also was a artist himself way back in my day. And he had the little joint Pump It Up, and everybody only knows it for the soundtrack. The oh my god, what's the name of that? You Got Served. And the You Got Served soundtrack, that's where the Pump It Up song came from. Now he's successful as a podcaster, of course, but I think that if he knew the recipe of rap longevity, then he would be that goat now. So he doesn't have that recipe to be giving him advice. However, on his platform, just like on mine, we talk about different things that are going on in the streets. And so he's supposed to talk about that because that's the hot topic of the week. So I respect him for his opinion, but I think that for him to suggest that Drake should evolve his music and it should mature is not fitting for him. I don't think he's qualified to say that. So that's my 2 cents on that. The other thing I saw was King. King is T.I. and Tiny's son. And I don't know if you follow him, but he's been reckless. He has been like just in the streets saying whatever he wants to say, getting big teeth, and just doing whatever. So he
Chocolate.
Yes. So he had an interview with that. I think that guy name is Funny Marco. And he did an interview, and he said that the misconception about him is that they saw the reality show of his family and everybody assumed that he lived with them. But he said, my grandmother raised me. Now, ironically, T.I.'s older kids that are not by Tiny said the same thing, that they used to get called to come spend the night at the house for that show to air. And then they also said that Zonique, which is Tiny's oldest daughter, said the same thing, that her grandmother raised her. So now I don't judge people parenting skills because I'm a parent myself, and my kids are spread apart. I have they 16 years apart. And so I'm a better mama now than I was then. But what I can tell you is it's a lot of kids being raised by their grandparents, and all of you all aren't celebrities. So to judge T.I. and Tiny when they are like on the go and always doing something in mixy, you can't do that. And ideally, you would want your family to watch them. Who wants to get like a nanny or some stranger, especially when you're dealing with two people that got that kind of money? So, but then you also on the flip side can be like, is this why King is so reckless? Because grandma just was like, oh, this grandma baby, because I'm a grandparent. So I know how I am with my little 8-year-old granddaughter. I just called her mama yesterday and was like, my baby said she want grilled cheese for dinner, and you need to give her grilled cheese for dinner because that's what she said. And she's like, Mom, you can't be stepping in and trying to interfere with what we got going on. And I was like, okay, but who's the boss? You know, you don't run me. So I know I was out of bounds. I will agree. I was wrong. However, that's what grandmas do. So I say all that to say I am pretty sure King can do whatever he wants to do because he the grandbaby. He's probably grandma's, favorite or something. And so now who gonna check him? If you're not used to your parents giving you rules and restrictions because you didn't live with them, definitely not after you've graduated from high school, they can't check you. So
Yep.
I don't know what you all think. But I tell you what, I have a special guest today, and I did not warn you all. Usually I say, hey, I got somebody coming on, but I didn't share that with you. It's a surprise. But I'll tell you how I found this young man. He was already my friend on Facebook, but he is a little reckless at the mouth that I like. It's a good problem. And so, as far as when it comes to women and relationships and just things in general, he is not afraid to say what's on his mind. And as I tell y'all, people like to lie and people don't tell the truth. And I can't stand that type of person. So I wanted to have someone on here that could be honest and not feel like they got to be politically correct because they worrying about their job. I don't be worrying about my job half the time. And so I just wanted that honesty. So his name is Ross Grant. I don't know if you all know him, but I'm gonna give him just a few seconds or minutes, however long you want to take, actually, and tell us a little bit about himself. Thank you for joining us, Ross.
What's going on? What's going on? Thank you for having me. I'm Ross G on Instagram. That's ROSSGGGEE underscore. Ross Grant on Facebook. I've always been, pretty outspoken. A lot of people don't like it, but they'll be all right. So here I am.
So you know what? The last thing I saw of you, because I kept seeing things, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just text him or you send him a DM because I got to do it. You were talking about women in marriage and how women want to get married, but then they don't. I guess hold themselves accountable to doing what's necessary to, I guess, find a husband. So we talked about what to talk about today, in my mind, I felt like it was the opposite. Like women are always told what they should be doing to prepare themselves for marriage. However, the men don't actually it's just not as people aren't as vocal about male accountability. Like, okay, what should you do as a man to prepare yourself for a family, for a woman, for a wife? It's almost like, well, I could just sit back and you gonna have to make sure you ready for me because I'm good. And I hate to say it, I don't feel like men are really prepared for marriage half of the time. You know what I mean? So that's what we're going to
I
discuss today, guys. And so, Ross, what you think about that?
um Well, clearly we got two different vantage points on this. You clearly already married, so it worked out for you. Personally, I just believe that it couldn't be further from the truth for me, just simply because the way that I was raised from my great grandparents on down is that the man pays the vast majority of the bills and he protects his family. I think that men now, and for me, it's a two-part answer. I feel like men now are starting to kind of regain that standard of who they're willing to do that for. And I also think that a lot of men are not seeing the benefit of getting married in today's age, just because we're dealing with we want a traditional setup as far as marriage is concerned, but we're not dealing with traditional women, and a lot of these men aren't traditional either. You're getting a lot of these, but a lot of people that are complaining about the 50-50 and all of that, they're 50 percentile women. A lot of them are. You know what I'm saying? They're not. They may be fine. They may have a big booty or whatever, but they also got a whole bunch of kids. They also got a bad
Well,
attitude. They also may not have, they also may be disrespectful, and talk crazy out the mouth when they get mad. And so I just think that men are really starting to kind of, get that standard and say, look, I'm not gonna do this for this specific kind of woman. Me
so, I mean,
personally.
obviously, we all individuals, so everybody has their own standard of what a quality woman is to them. But I'll say about 76% of my audience are women, and I hear it so much so of women wanting to find it. And you're right, I'm married, so it's not that I don't know what it's like to not be married, but of course, a lot of women would be like, Yolanda, you can't tell us nothing. You know what I'm saying? as if, because they feel like you're not in the game anymore. You're not honey, you don't know what we have to deal with. So many times I
It's
get from
changed.
single women, yes, that's what they tell me. They said it's not the same, these men are, but their complaint is men don't have their own place. They're hopping from woman to woman, like as far as the house. So they're only with women for what they can do for them. And so what I'm seeing, and I have a son, and that old saying about mothers love their sons but raise their daughters. And I see it. I'm gonna be honest. I don't lie. So I usually tell the truth. I don't really care. But I myself have done that. Like my daughter, I of course raised her. You got to get your own place. Don't let no man use you. You got to be able to take care of yourself. My son, I'm like, oh, I'll do it for you. He's only 14, but I'm like, I'll do it for you. Luckily, he has his dad in his life. We're married. So he'd be like, nah, So I've been relinquished that. I let his daddy, handle all of the upgrade, especially once he hit a certain age. So because
Yeah.
I want him to be able to be prepared to support and protect. But it sounds like your upbringing too was different from most men because so again, who holds the man accountable? Who's going to bring up these young boys to be like, yo, you got to protect and provide. It can't be 50-50, or you can't expect traditional women when they don't live traditional lives. We work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
And
who
that,
going
and
to hold
well,
the
I,
men
and I'm,
accountable? Because y'all bash us now, but I don't feel like there's an equal amount of male bashing from you
I
all.
think, I think that and I can only be, you know what I'm saying, talk about what I know. The men that surround me, 50-50 doesn't come up. You know what I'm saying? We
Okay.
would like to find a woman to protect and provide for, you know.
Okay.
And like I said, that's just the men that I'm around. But I do know that there are bum dudes out there. I know dudes that got 4, 5 kids that still stay, you know what I'm saying, with their mama and got, 2, 3 baby daddies. These ain't my homies, but I know them, I went to school with them. And
Right.
so I think that really the only way that a man is going to be held accountable is when he sees his lack of options.
Mm,
Women are really going to be the ones to have to hold these guys accountable and say, hey, I'm not going to date you. I'm not going to sleep with you. I'm not going to waste time with you when I see that you have 3 baby mamas and you don't have a car, or
mm,
you don't have a plan for your life. You don't have any type of trajectory, or you don't know where you're headed. If you stop, you know, spreading your legs for these guys, they'll probably straighten up, because everything that a man does subconsciously is for a woman.
mm,
If it wasn't for a woman, I'd be fine with my car not having leather in a sunroof. I'd be
mm.
fine with my car being slow. It ain't, but I'd be fine with a little putt putt. You know what I'm saying? As long as I can get to where I'm going. Um, you know, Men do what they do for women. And
But you know
and
what?
if
I think
women,
that go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, when I'm just saying basically that, if women kind of just take a stand and say, we're not dealing with this kind of guy, you go phase him out. You know what I'm saying? He's not gonna have nobody to choose from. And then he gonna say, damn, I need to up my game because ain't nobody dealing with me. Because at the
But
end of the
that's
day, y'all
easier.
are the gate.
That's easier said than done, because I think what it is, and I'm speaking from my own past experiences. Women are still peer pressured at a grown age, and they feel like if I don't do this, then you all are going to move on. So you're saying like, don't give them the box. But if they don't, then it's like, well, you're not even an option for me, because I'm not going to be with you unless I sleep with you. You get what I'm saying? And I personally know
Do
of a
you want him
girl
to
who.
be an option though? Do you want him to be an option if he's not handling his business as a sustainable, a sustained adult? Do
I
you
don't
even
know if
want
I
to do
know, but women think that they can change men. I even speak on that. They feel like, okay, I can change him. He's not doing this, but if I just give him a little encouragement, he's going to be better. He's going to do. Now, I even talk about that. I think that's bullshit. I think that you can't
that?
change anybody. Wherever you meet them at is where they're going to end at. And unless they want to do it, they're never going to do it. Now, I agree. I believe that. However, it does not convey to the single woman. And the older they get, they feel as though their options are slim. So it's like, I got to take what I got. So I'm going to flip it back on you. If you were dating a girl that you thought saw or had some potential, and she said, you know what? I don't want to have sex. Is that a girl that is automatically canceled to you, or it depends on other factors?
Um, for me, yeah. but that's not the only thing that can cancel you though. You know what I'm saying?
So,
Like
so then
I've
how
dealt
you gonna say they can't have sex? But then if they tell you they don't have sex, then
well,
they cancel.
well, the thing is because I'm not the guy that we talking about here. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not a 50-50 guy. You understand what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
I'm saying I'm a guy that's go protect and provide. So, a woman has to realize that, if I'm gonna deal, I've never had more options than I've had now in my life being 35. And because once you hit 30, a man really starts to hit his stride. He start really
Mhm,
making actual real money. You know what I'm saying? He's able to really provide for himself and he's putting himself together piece by piece.
mhm,
And I think that a lot of women spend a lot of their 20s chasing after the bad boy, chasing after the guy that got two, three baby mamas, dealing with the guy that doesn't really have any type of trajectory or any type of real goals. He might be selling dope or doing whatever he's doing. But I really think that, if women make this decision and say, look, I'm not, and just be realistic about it now. I'm not saying, because y'all will cut a dude off because he ain't 6'5" with a beard and a Christian thug with $1 million. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna find that guy. um you know if you have realistic standards, having a guy that has his own transportation is realistic. Having a guy that has a job with insurance is realistic. Having a guy that doesn't have 3 4 baby mamas is realistic. You have to put realistic standards in place for you to get the kind of guy that you want. Now, like I said, he may not be 6'5", he may not be bearded, he may not have the 12-inch meat. You know what I'm saying? He may not have all of these things that you think you want and think you deserve. But you got to start somewhere. And
Right.
so as long as you have most of what's on the list and the list is realistic, I think that a lot of women won't have issues finding that kind of guy, because every woman that says that, if you look at her inbox, she got some good guys in there. He just
Yeah.
might be 5'8", you know what I'm saying, and a little bit overweight, whatever, but he may be a nice guy. He's willing to provide, he's willing to protect.
Yeah, we don't
So I think
disagree. We really don't. I just said that same thing last week on my show. Like, hey guys, you're not going. I said, well, what I actually said was, you won't marry your type, which is the truth. You're not going to marry your type. We have this expectation that this is going to be the guy we marry because he looks like this, he's that, but that doesn't happen. But oftentimes we also want approval from our peers. Like, I want somebody to look at my husband like, ooh, that's a quality man. And him having a blue collar job ain't good enough because you expect for him to just have this six-figure job when it's like, as you just stated, not realistic. But I think that women don't know. Well, let me say this. I feel like men, whether it's a 50-50 guy or a protector and provider dude, you guys don't make it clear to women if they are even a candidate to be your wife. They're unsure even if it's a, yes, we're in a monogamous relationship, we're just dating. It's like, I don't even know. So why am I going to attempt to be his end all be all when I am just clearly unsure? So they do whatever it is that you all want, especially if they think you're a good potential for them, and then they get let down, and it's disappointment after disappointment after disappointment. And I can't tell them what y'all want because I'm not that girl, I'm not a dude. So I just think that they're confused, and I don't think it's enough honesty out there with men. Not you in particular, but I just don't think men tell the truth.
Well, I mean that's fair. You know what I'm saying? Because I ain't gonna lie, I've been that guy at times. But I will also say though that in my older age, the older I get, um, the standards are changing. For men, specifically, when you were in your 20s, all she had to do was be fine. If she was fine and could read and write, that's it. That's all you needed.
Right.
90% fine, 10% read and write, and she's a winner. She can have a bad attitude. She can be, you know what I'm saying, ran through, don't matter. She's fine and she can read and write. The older you get, these standards change. The
Mm-hmm.
looks more so become like 20% of the equation, not 90%. Okay. So yeah, I want you to, I want you to look good. I want you to look cute. But are you a decent person? Are you nice? Are you nurturing? Are you respectful even when you're upset? Which is gonna cancel a whole lot of women out there.
Don't do that. Don't do
Are
that. Don't do that.
I mean, it's a fact. It's a fact. You know what I'm saying? Or can you admit when you're wrong? These are things that are important to me as a man. And one thing that I had to do and just take accountability for is that I had to stop having sex with women just because they were fine and just because
Wow.
I could. You know what I'm saying? That is, because a lot of these women are thinking that, I'm 32, I'm still fine.
Mm-hmm.
I deserve a protector and provider, but you don't got none of the aforementioned. You're not a
Yeah.
good person. You're still the same mean girl that you was in college. Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is a fact. You know what I'm saying? I had to stop giving myself to these women
Okay.
that were not decent human beings because it was messing up my life.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that men have to take accountability for as well. So
Mm-hmm.
so I think everybody just needs to have realistic standards. And that also goes to say, look, if you have, you know, 3, 4 baby daddies, you know, hey, look, baby, you might be short. You're not. I mean, I'm just being honest with you. It's gonna be hard for you to find a guy that's going to protect and provide for you and your 3 or 4 kids that you probably not even gonna let them discipline. Okay, and he still got to deal with your 3 baby daddies and their attitudes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we gotta think about. Y'all gotta think about this before you go into this. You know what I'm saying? Before you
So
before you end up where you're at.
let me be transparent with you on that because you mentioned a lot of things that I know I was, and I share this with my audience a lot about who the person I was before. I was the neck rolling, air grabbing attitude, not just when I'm mad, just whenever I felt like it. But I try to tell them where my head is because I do understand why they do it. It's almost like you're not going to play me. So in order for me to feel like I got a leg up, then I'm going to have that attitude as my defense mechanism. That's really all it was, so that if I had this attitude, the less I would be less likely to be hurt. If I maintain my stance of I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? If I hold on to that I don't give a fuck, then I'm less likely to get hurt. As far as that, I don't have multiple baby daddies, but I had a child young. So I always had a child in relationships. And so when I met my husband, this is a sore spot for us, but we don't went to therapy. We good now. But when we first got together, he felt what you just said, like, okay, I can't discipline your daughter. And the issue with that for me was you don't know who's going to be your husband, if that person is going to be long term. So the thing of getting with a man in a relationship and them trying to give you different rules and restrictions for your child just doesn't work, because then now your child feels like you've abandoned them, because all you do is every man you get with now, you allow them to be the father figure in that child's life. So it has to be some cutoff. It's nothing personal to the man. It's really just like, well, and my husband can attest to this. I know you guys don't believe us when we say this, but I'm like, well, if I had a husband, then it would be different. But if you're not my husband, then no, you don't get to dictate how I raise my child. So when we became engaged, then conversations that I would have with my child then became we conversations, and not just me and her. I included him in the conversation. We would discuss it prior to, and then we would bring her in to have the conversation. So I did gradually include him in, to the point where now, I mean, my daughter's old as heck. I mean, she's 30. I mean, she old now, but she'll call my husband first to be like, hey, you want to watch your granddaughter this weekend? Because she knows she called me, I'm probably going to say no at first, and he'll say yeah all the time. So it's not that it will never happen, but sometimes you guys have to have a little patience with us, because a lot of women are experiencing just trauma from their past experience. That's not justification, because I do feel like you have to take every relationship as a new relationship. Like, you can't go by what you've been through and hold that new man accountable for everything that the other dudes have done to you. However, it does take not just accountability from both partners, but understanding from both partners. Like, if I don't want to have to tell you all my business, but if I say to you, like, just give me a little grace, just give me a little understanding, just a little patience, like we can get there, then you guys got to kind of, acquiesce on that, because, I'm being straight up.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I like the way that y'all did that. If he hasn't made the decision that he's going to marry you and you're who he wants to be with for the rest of his life, he shouldn't really have no say, and what your kids are doing, unless your kids are just really horrible,
Well, yeah,
But
that's another story. Yeah, that's
because
another. I get
you know what I'm
that.
saying, because there's some bad kids out there. But
But men are stop talking to women because of that, and I mean, they have to understand that. I know some of my brother friends, they'll stop talking to girls because their kids are bad.
I have, I know
Oh,
I have. I mean, it's a fact. But I do, I think that, the way that you put that together, and the way that y'all work that out is, the proper way to do it. But you have a lot of women, I was talking to a girl that had, two kids, and I asked you, well, you said you want a guy to sweep you off your feet and do this, that, and the third. Are you gonna allow him to discipline your kids? And she, oh no, they have a father. And I said, well, you expect a man to come in, pay the bills, take care of you and your two kids that are not biologically his. But when your son get 14 and start talking to me crazy, I can't snatch him up. That's a problem. That's the issue.
yeah.
And so I think that, unfortunately, a lot of women don't think about this before they have the kid, before they have the second or the third kid. I understand, you have one kid and shit happens. I understand that.
Mhm.
You out here with, three kids, three baby daddies, like, baby, you need to be sure on that second one. You need to be absolutely sure. The ring needs to be bought, and you damn need to have it on your hand already, if you're gonna have a second child by a guy.
Yeah.
Too many women just want to try it and just see if it works. Like, you can't do that
They
with
think
kids, man.
babies
It's
they think babies will hold them on, to that man, and I don't get it, but I see it so
it
much that
ain't
I
working.
understand. Well, it's not that it
Yeah,
ain't working.
it ain't working. They know it ain't working. They know it's not working. And I mean, it's just, and I'll give you another example of a chick that I was in. Another chick had two kids, two
Mhm.
baby daddies,
Okay.
right? And I liked her. We had a great vibe, all of that. But she again had two kids, two baby daddies, and I call myself trying to softly kind of insert and be a positive role model for these two kids, and just kind
Okay.
of be a little active. So I bought them two remote control trucks for Christmas,
Oh, that was
had them
sweet.
shipped to the house. That she said that's what they wanted. I said, I got it, don't worry about it. Went on Amazon, had it shipped to the house. She sends me a video where the kids jumping up and down. Oh, this is the best Christmas ever. La la la. Okay, word. Um, so you told him I got it for him? No, I told him Santa got it for him. Now these kids know me.
Okay.
They've been around me. That was the beginning of the end for me. For
So
me,
that
it
was
was over
your
with.
red flag. It was a done deal.
Over with.
Oh,
Because if you can't even tell them that I did something good for them, how you gonna allow me to check them and be an actual positive role model and correct them when they're wrong? And
so I get what
so
you're saying. Yeah.
yeah, that was a wrap for me.
Well, yeah, I mean, because you're right. I mean, when you say discipline, what you're wanting to see is that she's extending the olive branch if it's in that type of situation. If you can't, like you just said, can't even say that I gave them something and include me in it, how easy is it going to be for you to bring me in and allow me to discipline them? And I promise you, I done had drop down arguments with my husband about the same thing. I would say, no, I'm serious. If it, we get close, I promise you, I won't, but again, he says this about me a lot. I understand it and I try to keep it in mind. He's like, baby, everybody ain't you. And that's what I have to keep reminding myself when people ask me for my advice and people ask me of things. I get that everybody doesn't think like me. I used to feel like I had a male mentality because I really used to be on some fuck it. Now I feel like I can just understand the both. I don't fault you all for the way that you are. I think that it just needs to be a little bit more transparency. I understand why you all don't tell us the truth a lot. I get it, because not all women can accept the truth. Where I look at the truth as a period and not a, not a question mark. When somebody tells you the truth, to me it's a period. I don't have no questions. You've already given me all the answers. There's no back and forth. There's no argument. It's a close my mouth type of thing when I get the truth, versus a lie. I can smell it, and then I want to ask 80 questions, and now it's an argument. So that's how I respond to the truth. But I know that not every woman does that. They, like you said, they angry, they scream, they're disrespectful. But I just, you're, how old are you, by the way? Do you
I'm
mind me
35.
asking? Okay, you're
Nah, I
35.
don't mind.
So
I'm
now,
35. Yeah,
well, I'm a little older than you. I'm 43. But
that's all right.
if, for example, you say you decide to get married at 35, women your age, or even between your age and my age, the girl Ebony, I just talked about this a couple of weeks ago, came on her pod, or she doesn't have a podcast, she has like a show or something on one of those networks. But she was saying how women's stock go down the older they get, and that they become like less, less pretty much like their value is going down and nobody wants them. So you're not looking for no woman my age, or probably not even your age, because they're gonna have multiple kids. They're gonna have, so what does a woman that's between 35 and 40 do whenever they feel like, okay, I got 3 kids and 3 baby daddies, and I don't know how to not be myself. I've been this way for so long, but I am ready to settle down. But somebody like you, who says I want to provide and I want to protect, and I ain't looking for 50-50. So on paper, because I don't know you, but from what you're saying and on paper, of course, it seems like this is a great catch. So what, but you're not gonna go for that 40-year-old woman with those 3 kids and three. So what does that woman do?
I'm gonna be totally honest with you, and this is just me. I I personally am not going to date a woman that has more than one kid. Just me
Oh,
personally.
it's
But
heartbroken.
but there's a few reasons for that though. There's a few
Okay.
reasons for that. For one, I don't have any kids,
Okay.
right? So
That's
so
rare.
so to
Good
yeah,
quality.
you know what I'm saying? I don't have any kid, and I understand that.
Mhm.
And so therefore, I believe that I have the right to have certain preferences. Okay. Not dating a chick that got more than one kid. Again, that's just me. All right.
Okay.
Doesn't make you a bad woman, doesn't make you a bad catch. Just means that you aren't for me.
Okay.
Okay.
Fair. That's
I,
fair.
I find I find too many women, and I see it all the time on the TL, that have 2 or 3 kids and say they want a man with no kids. Again, you have to be realistic.
I
You are
used to
not
say
being
that. I
realistic.
used to say
You're not being realistic. I
that's
mean,
true.
I saw this post circulating that said, I just want my third kid to be his first kid. No, it's not gonna happen. You have to have sniper type accuracy, okay, to be able to catch a guy like that. All right,
Oh my
it's
God.
not happening with me. So and like I said, that does not make you a bad catch. But I also want to have a kid, or maybe I want
Okay.
to have two. Who's to say that you ain't maxed out at three?
Mm.
Who's to say that you don't
Maxed
want to
out.
have no more? Let's just be honest. But if you already got 2 or 3 kids, you may be like, I ain't trying to have no more kids.
That's true.
Well, me and you, you know what I'm saying, we not compatible. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? That's just what it is. We're not gonna
So
be
you
compatible.
agree with Ebony in that if you want to get married, then you need to put yourself in a position to be married, meaning that just like you,
Yeah,
like she said, you pursuing the degree, you need to pursue the marriage, in that make yourself, I guess, not make, but be marketable in the area of marriage and dating,
yeah,
and
yeah.
not
And by the
cancel
time
yourself out.
you canceling yourself out when you choose to have 3 baby daddies. You know what I'm saying? You are, and I know a lot of people ain't gonna want to hear that, but that is you are cutting yourself off from a lot of potential suitors, because what that says to me as a man, you've been with these 3 guys, neither one of them, you didn't marry any of them. At this point, in my eyes, you just make bad decisions.
Mm.
You aren't picking, you are not being careful with who you decide to let shoot your club up.
Mm.
Like I said, after the first kid, you should be sure. You know what I'm saying? You should know, like, you know what? Okay, I had this first kid, this happened. This second kid, I'm marrying this dude. And
Mhm.
if we ain't getting married, he ain't putting no baby in me. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't believe in abortion, you need to get on birth control. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just what it is, cut and dry. Or you need to realize that you're gonna set yourself up, to be less marketable. Now, not to say that there aren't guys out there
Of course,
that
yeah.
will, marry a woman that got 2, 3 kids and ain't, what I'm saying, and it's fine. And that's
Mhm.
fine for them. Me personally, don't work for me. Okay. But again, that doesn't mean you can't be a catch for somebody else, but there are other ways that you can make yourself marketable. You can't have 2 or 3 kids and have a bad attitude. Okay. You can't have, a whole bunch of kids and you're ungrateful, or
Mhm.
you're or you have, or every time that we get into an argument, I'm protecting and providing, and every time we get into an argument, I'm a broke ass nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like we can't do that. We can't do that,
Yeah.
because a man that's in my position, at least, I'm not gonna deal with it. I'm just tell you bye. You know what I'm saying? Immediately. Because I don't have time, you know, to teach you how to be respectful. And I think,
Mhm.
a good thing that like you said, being in a household like you have, where you have a husband, right, and you have, a son, and he's seeing how a husband and wife interact, how a wife treats a husband when she's mad at him, how a man treats his wife when he's mad at her, and they're still able to maintain that respect even though they may be upset at each other. That's
Mhm.
important.
Mhm.
That's important and that's something that these women need to think about before you go out here and you decide you want to have a ton of kids with guys that aren't trying to marry you.
And
Something to
you
think
got
about.
some, yeah, it's a lot to think about actually. And I know women make mistakes, and you're not saying anything that I disagree with. Let me just go ahead and say that. I told you I'm a little different, and I'm for women, but I am real and realistic about it. And the things that you're saying is true. I think that that's something you need to be concerned with, especially if you have it. So all I can tell my 30-year-old is the same thing. She has one child, and we have that conversation constantly. You shouldn't have any more children unless it's by your husband. I tell her that, and I mean
Yeah,
it. And if I got to cut
yeah,
the check, I'll cut the check, because at this
yeah.
point it's a no.
Yeah, we're
Because
not doing that.
I agree. I agree. Because again, I'm looking at it from a woman, and it just, when I hate when men, because I have single friends, and when people be like, "Oh, well, you just need to get married," you can't make a man ask you to marry them. You get what I'm saying? Now,
Right.
I'm not going to say I believe in ultimatums, but I believe in a firm stance and expectations of who you're with. So, my husband and I were in a long relationship before we got married, and it was, my expectation was not that, if and then. I didn't give an if and then statement. If you don't do this, then this, which I believe those statements are needed sometime, but it was just like, I don't want to be in a relationship for these many years and not my status not change. That was my verbiage exactly. I don't want to
Yeah.
be a girlfriend for 10 years. I need, my status needs to be changed after a certain point. And I ain't saying that I got to be married immediately, because you go from girlfriend to fiance, and then, then you go into it, because during that fiance engagement stage, you may not want to marry the person, depending on, what you learn about them. Because, and I don't know if you've ever lived with someone, but I lived with someone prior to getting married. I've been in a long-term relationship where we stayed together. So I understood that dynamic. That's rough. Like, you learn a lot
Yeah.
about people when you live with them, and
That's a
they ain't
fact.
the same as when they're dating. Because you just be like, I don't know if I can deal with this. I joke all the time that my husband leaves cabinets open, but that's like a real, like, cringy thing for me. I get upset. But you would think that, oh, that's something minor. But when you're used to having your own place and things going on,
Yeah.
stuff like that will tear up a situation. But I
Yeah.
I just really wish that, and this is why I wanted you on too, just for them to hear it from a male's perspective and understand that I don't think that you all are being unrealistic about your expectations, but they got to stop being unrealistic about theirs. So I do, and that's not to bash the women, guys. I'm not bashing you all. I promise you, I'm not. But so often you all are asking, like, okay, when am I going to get married? How long is going to be? Why men aren't settling down? And I get it. This generation is different. He is still Ross, you are still technically of my generation. I would consider you of my generation in that we think a
Yeah,
little
that's fair.
different. And the new generation is, especially of these young boys, they're just not they not like 30
Yeah,
or 25 and 30-year-olds. They're just, and I don't expect the 25-year-old to be settled either, but 32-year-olds ain't settled either. Even some 35-year-olds aren't settled. And so I don't know if it's their upbringing. I don't know if it's their uncles or cousins or whomever holding them accountable. But I think it's okay for a man to say, I'm not ready for that. And I think that you need to allow the woman to make the decision whether or not she wants to deal with you after you say, I don't want all of that. Like, I don't
yeah,
mind dating you. I don't even mind it being monogamous, maybe if we're just boyfriend and girlfriend, but I can't tell you that marriage is up my alley because I don't see myself getting married. And guess what? Not everybody wants to get married, and that's okay too. I
yeah,
just feel like all of
yeah,
that needs to be said prior to, especially if you're dealing with a woman over 35. I think every man who date a woman 35 or older need to tell her if they want to get married now, because promise you that woman want to get married. I promise
yeah,
you she want to. If she's never been married, let me say that. Most women want to get married. So if they not married and haven't been, especially if they don't have kids either, they want to be
yeah,
married. So I just feel like don't play with their feelings. Like set the expectation. Like you a good time girl, but you ain't a settled down girl. Because there's some good time girls
yeah,
that I know y'all
yeah,
just want to have
yeah.
a good time with.
There it
But
is.
she
You ain't
gotta
right
know
about that.
that because women don't listen to me. They listen to y'all. Believe it or not, they don't listen to women that tell them these same things. It's like I feel like every woman need to talk to their ex. Like every woman need to have a candid conversation with their ex and be like, "What was it about me that you felt like you did not want to, be with forever or marry? What was about me?" Because I think they will learn a lot about themselves if they ask the tough questions. And you can't ask your homegirl because we different in relationships. Who I am with my homegirls ain't who I am with my man. It just ain't. You get what I'm saying? I
Well,
come across rough,
I
but I'm like real sweet and squishy in the inside with my man.
yeah, yeah.
So
I I would say, I would say part of that though, they could have these conversations, but that's gonna take accountability.
but that's what they
That
need. They need it.
yeah, yeah, but a lot of, I mean, even women that are, in their 30s and 40s can't admit when they wrong. They rather block you before they apologize to you. You know what I'm
Not the
saying? And I
block.
and I know that for a fact because I've been on the block end. Okay. You
Oh
catch a woman
God.
in the wrong and she like, it's too much. Block. She can't deal with it. So so that's gonna take some accountability, and that is the only way you are going to be able to self-improve. And
Mhm.
if and not to say, like I said, if you got a ton of kids or something, not to say that X's you out, but you're gonna
Oh
have
yeah,
to
of
be
course.
exceptional in other areas. You're gonna have to be exceptional in other areas. You can't expect a man, and this isn't knocking any certain profession, but you saying you want a man to protect and provide and have you in your soft girl era and all of this stuff, but you've been a waiter for 10 years. You know what I'm saying? Not to knock my waitresses, you know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
whatever, good tips, whatever. But it's like you want a guy to come in and make $100,000 to take care of your family. You know what I'm saying? You have to meet somebody somewhere. You got it. And not to say, for me, I'm not, I am looking to protect and provide for the
Mhm.
woman that is already self-sufficient, not the woman that needs
Okay.
me. I don't
Oh.
want the woman that needs me. Because because
Oh.
because the woman that needs me, at least on the provisional standpoint, um, it can turn into a use and abuse type situation. And I've been in those too. To
Mm.
to to where you think you helping her out, you think you doing what a man is supposed to do, and you give her some money for something and it don't go towards that because she just figured you go give her
Mhm.
some more.
Mhm.
So they're like I said, we gotta be, everybody has to be accountable. Men do need to be more honest about what they want in a
Mhm.
woman. And if they see her as a potential mate like that. But like I said, it's difficult. It's not difficult for me now being my age, for one, because I'm just, what I'm saying, kind of blunt.
Mhm.
Um, and I think for other guys, it shouldn't be as honest if you are really getting to where you need to be as a man in your 30s.
Mhm.
In your 30s, you should be making, some decent money. You should have good insurance.
Mhm.
You should be able to kind of start building the life that you want. So by the time you 40, you just coasting, you and your wife and however many kids you got. And that provides you with a lot of opportunities though. and
Yeah.
and and me at my age, I got everybody from the 45-year-old to the 21-year-old trying to talk to me.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
saying, I'm just, I'm saying, I'm just being honest with you.
Yeah.
So, and
You at
while
that age.
clearly I
Yeah.
ain't, yeah, I'm saying I'm not about to, clearly I ain't about to date, no 21-year-old, just because what we go talk about other than sex, but but you're able to cast a wide net at that age. I mean,
Yeah.
you just are. And so for a lot of men, it's harder than ever for
Mm.
them to be 30 something and settle down because they really just hitting their stride. They really just starting to kind of have fun that they wanted to have when they was 20 something, but they was broke.
Yeah.
They couldn't fuck. They didn't know really
True.
how to please a woman, how to be romantic. And now you've got all this knowledge and you trying to put it to use. You trying to see how it works. And, and so and so and so it's hard for a lot of men to really, what I'm saying, to step into that. And it really takes you loving a woman,
Mm.
to take you out of that, to say, you know what, I've had my fun, I'm good. And I've had a lot of fun, but I still, am tempted, to be like,
Right.
hey, what I'm saying, I wanna play over here, I want to play over there. So I think that I think that women just gotta, honestly, if I were being honest with them, I would tell them that you need to, focus on maybe settling down earlier. I mean, I understand that
Mm.
that's water under the bridge, but if
Mm.
we have any younger women here, y'all want to play in the street and be city girls till you're 30, and but now you got two kids. You understand what I'm saying? You've been playing around, you've been hot girl, you know, since you was 16, all right, and now you 30. Okay. And for one, I'm not trying to date a girl that's been a hot girl all them years because she probably done got a whole lot of bodies.
Oh
I would prefer somebody that is, somewhat exclusive if I'm gonna be protecting and providing for you. Um, and I now have access to the younger version of you because I'm getting money, because I'm educated, because I'm starting to walk in my purpose and
right.
figure out what I want to do with my life. It gives me more access. I can just get a younger you. If I just want to smash them, I can just get a younger you that
True.
ain't got no kids. They and got the same bad attitude that you got. So that's, as a man, that's how we look at it. So if
Mm.
the man is going to do the proposing, you have
Mhm.
to make yourself marketable to the man, to the type of man that you want. That's my take
You
on it.
know, I agree. I actually don't have any rebuttal. I mean, I can't lie. I agree. Now, I have two things from what you said that stuck out to me. So when you mentioned the waitress, I think that, and I'm a school counselor, and I can tell you that I talk to a lot of young girls, and I remember one story in particular. This girl came in, and this was when Kodak Black was really like hot, and she came in, and I feel like everybody want to send me the ratchet girls at school. I'd be like, why y'all send them to me? And I get, I'm like, well, why I can't talk to the sweet girls? Y'all just sending me all the
They,
hood
they,
chicks.
they say you speaking their language.
Clearly, but I'm okay. And I'm like, what y'all saying about these girls? Because I didn't think they were ratchet and street, but it was what they were saying. And I think that though the women didn't understand them. And I always been an open book, and they know my history. And I was a young mom. And so I get why they sent them to me, but I felt a little judged. But anyway, the girl was like, yeah, Kodak Black is going to be in Florida. I got this girl that she not really my home girl, but she a home girl of my home girl, and she gonna go out there. Man, I'm going down there because I'm gonna get me some money. I'm gonna get with him, and he gonna, I'm gonna get this amount of money. Like, she literally thought that she was gonna go down there. Kodak was gonna see her because she had, whatever going for herself, and that he was gonna be willing to spend this money on her. So I told her, I was like, sweetie, you got the game all the way messed up. I was like, this social media and TV got y'all head gone. And I had to be honest with her. I was like, when I was younger, my homegirl used to date Trick Daddy's brother. And I was like, I know y'all don't know Trick Daddy. That's a little old for y'all. But he been probably our version of
Trick
a
Daddy
Kodak Black.
Dollar.
Okay. He about the
Yeah,
closest to the
yeah.
Kodak
He
Black
the
we had.
older version for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, but a better
That's
rapper.
right.
Yeah.
So she used to date his brother, and I told her the story, and I said, "Do you know what type of shenanigans I saw? Because we would go meet them whenever they were in neighboring cities, and we would be on stage, backstage, tour bus, everything. I was like,
And they
girls
came
would
to
just
SC a lot.
uh who you telling? I was like, girls would just literally walk up to him when we in on a tour bus or backstage and pull his pants down and give him head right there with everybody in the room. And you think he gonna pay for you, sweetie? I was like, that
Yeah.
ain't how that works. It's just not how it works. She was like, I mean, but baby, no, it's not. And so when you mention the waitress, I think people feel like, and I'm not calling you women hoes, promise I don't mean this. I'm just using it as a phrase, but it's like a save a whole thing. Like, okay, I'm doing this and somebody's gonna come and see me and they're gonna rescue me from this lifestyle that I've been living. And
Nobody's
I
gonna save you.
and I really think that's what it is. I know women who are my age, 43, and they're still looking for a man with money. You get what I'm saying? And I feel like because they see other women in their soft life, they're seeing women who don't work, who man provides, who man has six-figure jobs, and feel like it gotta be me. And so they get good guys, they pass up the ones in their DM, and all because they think the next best thing is coming. And and all they're doing is getting older. And you're
Yeah.
not being honest, you're not even if you're not gonna, even if the woman has herself together or no don't have any kids or just one kid or whatever, I don't feel like a 43-year-old man is going to marry another 43-year-old woman with baggage and pass up a 35-year-old woman without baggage with the same accolades. You know what I'm saying? Still educated. So
Yeah.
I just wish that they would, like you said, understand and get that, and not in a bad. But the sad part about it is I know a lot of good women. I know a lot of deserving women who don't have children, who are trying to get married, who want to be married, and just have not met the right guy. Like, I do know some genuine women, and every day I pray for them women, like, Lord, please, because they good girls and they deserve it. Probably more so than me. And I can't lie, I've been hot girl in a long time, in my day.
Yeah, well,
And so,
you got yours though. You got
but I'm
your
just
husband. You got to
saying,
figure it out.
but still some women are really deserving, and I think that they get lumped into the woman that we're talking about. You get what I'm saying? And I don't think that that's
Yeah,
fair. So I don't know how those women are supposed to outshine the
separate.
other ones. Yeah, so what are they supposed to do, the women that are celibate, who are not, who are going to, not that church is the end all be all, that's not everybody's vibe, but they're in their faith, they don't have children, they already have their careers, they got doctorates or master's degrees, and they are living in, taking care of themselves, and do want somebody in to come in and protect and provide, and they keeping up with their bodies, they're going to the gym, but people just aren't seeing the commitment in them. Like, she is loyal. How do you know what you're doing wrong, again, if nobody tells you?
Yeah, I would say, and this is just, I mean, just the real truth. I made the comment about the wages. Like I said, this ain't to knock
Oh no,
anybody that's a
I know
waitress.
you. Yeah,
I
right.
know some
We
good
love
some good
waitresses,
women out there.
guys. We love
Yeah, yeah,
waitresses.
man. And some of y'all make some real good money. You get what I'm saying? Because you got good service. But
Yeah.
the real truth is though is that black women especially are the most educated group
Hmm.
um in America, more so than white men, more so than white women, more so than black men, more so than Asians or whoever. Black women have the most degrees. Um, and I think that, a lot of times
Hmm.
some of those standards are my man has to have 2 degrees too. We gotta think about that. We gotta think about that as far as what success means for you doesn't always mean success for the next guy. You can have a guy that works on the railroad that makes $80,000, you know, and works a blue
Hmm.
collar job, okay, and may just be, may have dropped out of college, but found his way, or maybe he drives trucks or whatever. But if he loves you, right, and he treats you with respect, and he doesn't beat you, and he's being, I'm saying, truthful and honest with you, and like I said, he may not be 6'5" with the beard, but you gotta, these guys, these women that are talking to you, that are saying, oh, I just can't seem to find them. Look in your DMs, scroll up, and that guy that had, the glasses that you thought looked a little funny, maybe give him a shot. Maybe give him a shot is what
Yeah,
I'm saying. Because I don't think anybody ends up with their ideal mate. I don't think anybody
absolutely
really,
not.
what I'm saying? We have this vision in our
Absolutely.
head that, oh, she gonna be this, she gonna have a fat ass, she gonna have a little waist, she gonna, what I'm saying? And I've come to realize that, look, man, that's not what's gonna happen. Um, at least when you want somebody that
Mm-mm.
has the intangibles. They can look like everything you want, but if they don't have the
Mm-mm.
intangibles, then you go end up hating them. um it's increasingly difficult for a woman that has been career driven, and focused on getting all these degrees, and the degrees ain't gonna keep you warm at night though. Okay, so I mean, I actually saw like a quilt that a chick made out of her degree, and her degree does keep her warm, but I'm
Oh my
saying
God,
but
not
yeah, she
intentionally.
had it made
She
into a
did
quilt.
that.
It was pretty dope. But but I think that white, like for instance, white women are taught to find their husbands in college or right after college.
Yeah.
And a lot of these girls, I ain't gonna lie to you, they done had a lot more fun than the hot girls have had. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm.
But they still got that in the back of their mind that, yeah, I'm gonna get my education, but I'm trying to find somebody before I turn this age that I can marry and build a life with. And I
Mm.
think that our black women are more so, I'm focused on, my career, and we go travel and do brunch, and I'm gonna, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna be able to have my pick of these different men, and until I feel like, settling down. Because the truth is, shoot, I thought I was ready to settle down in like 20 something. I didn't have nothing, but I thought I was ready to get out the game. I thought I had met a woman that, was who I was gonna spend my life with,
Oh,
but she was a bucket, she was in the streets. Beautiful girl, but she was a bucket. And
so she,
so
I'm
and
assuming
so
you caught her cheating. Is that what happened?
yeah, a couple times.
Oh,
But the fact is though, is that we have to stop. We have been raising our women, and partially because men, a lot of times men aren't in the household like they should be.
Mhm,
We've
mhm.
been raising our women to be so independent, and so not need a man for anything, and just we have, it's almost to the point where, like, we are dividing ourselves,
Mhm.
and it just shouldn't be like that. Men and women need each other,
I
and no
agree.
matter what race you're in, we need each
I
other.
agree.
While I may be able to pay the mortgage, and I can pay, the light bill, um I also need a woman that's good with money, because sometimes while I may make, I'm saying, a nice penny, I may not be all that good with
Yeah.
it. Okay. So I need a
Mhm,
woman that's gonna be good with money. While I can cook, I'm not the most tidy guy. I need a
mhm.
woman that can help me keep the house clean and help me keep shit organized.
Right.
So we have to start looking at these relationships as a partnership and not a sponsorship. Because if
Mm.
you're looking at it if you start off looking at a sponsorship, when you get 30, 40, nobody's trying to sponsor you. Nobody's trying to sponsor you. You a grown ass adult. You ain't 19, you ain't 20. Ain't nobody trying to sponsor you, baby.
Mhm.
I can
Jesus.
sponsor this little girl in college and give her $50, and she will do whatever I want to. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's just being honest. So we have to start looking at it as a partnership earlier on. For the women that are older,
Mhm.
I would tell you that there are men out there, and black don't crack. I mean, you say you 43. If you was white, you look like you was 60. I mean, I'm saying, like, I'm gonna be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? And you probably look, better than a lot of chicks is, in their 20s. You know what I'm saying? Because now these new chicks is all drugged out and perked out and all that. But
Okay.
we just there are men out there that will date you. There are men
Mm,
out there that are looking for a woman that is in their age range because they just don't have time to date a woman that is immature. And
yeah.
me personally, I don't believe any woman, at least in this generation, under the age of 28, is ready to get married. And
Mm,
and and I mean that is what society has kind of put into us. Play, have fun, smash. Don't worry about a relationship. It'll come, and then you look up and you're 34. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And you're thinking about getting a dog, or you thinking about getting a cat, or you thinking about freezing your eggs. I mean, these are, I'm saying, these are real conversations.
it
And so
is.
and so I
It is.
we have to, and if you look at your parents or your grandparents, my mother was already married and had my sister at 30. Now to some people that seems late, but she was married at 28. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying? Out the game. You know what I'm saying? My dad's 5 years older than her, 3 years older than her. He was 31.
mm.
You know what I'm saying? Ready to
That's
get
not
out the
bad. They
game.
probably were ready, like really prepared.
Yeah, was
Mm,
prepared, ready to go, but they didn't wait till they was 40 to do it.
mhm,
And so, I think it's very possible to find these kind of guys out here. I think that you have to have your realistic standards, and you have to be like no bullshit with them. You can't, you know what I'm saying? If you notice your standards are realistic, you can't bullshit with him, you can't hedge with him. Like, I'm not,
yeah,
you shouldn't deal with no guy that if he raises his hand to you once, drop his ass. You know what
yeah,
I'm
I
saying?
agree.
If y'all are arguing and he calls you a bitch or this, that, and the third, drop his ass. I
Yeah,
mean, just, you know what I'm saying? These are realistic standards, because if you don't stick to those, then you're going to, you're gonna end up in a bad situation.
I
Let the
just
six
so
five
often, yeah.
go.
Yeah, I just see them justifying sometimes the things that they do early on. And I always say this and I keep repeating it. They're not going to change. Don't think if they're showing it to you now, usually it gets worse. It doesn't
It gets
get better usually. If they're willing to show you that side of them in the beginning, because the beginning is the interview stage that everybody be on their best behavior. And if you telling me he not on his best behavior during the stage, it's not gonna get better. It just
yeah.
isn't. But I think on my platform I promote therapy. I do, because I feel like if you know yourself, then you'll know how to be realistic and what you really need. I think oftentimes we don't know ourselves, so we don't know what we need in a partner. I myself, the reason I wanted to be like I'm independent, I don't need a man, because that was me. I told you I've been a lot of things. And so my mom was traditional in that she didn't work. Her mama told her, you find a man that's going to take care of you and your kids. So my mom always had a man, a husband. She's always been married, that provided. She didn't work. But because she didn't work, I just saw her in my mind be mentally abused, and just the man just did what he wanted to do, because it was like, well, where you going? You
He's
need
paying all the
me.
bills.
And yeah,
Yeah.
I'm paying all the bills, so you really ain't got no place to go. So she took a lot, and I was just like, oh, that's never gonna be me. I just can't be that girl. I want myself to be in a position where I can leave if I want to, and I don't have to stay and deal with it. But I had to go through therapy to understand that I was reacting and making life decisions based on past traumas. And until I healed from that, I didn't really realize what I truly needed in a partnership. It wasn't that. I just
That's real.
wanted to
Yeah.
feel in a partnership that I was safe and that I would be taken care of. That's really all I wanted. I didn't have to be neck rolling and I'm gonna do it all by myself and I don't need no man. That ain't really what I wanted. I just wanted to feel safe and feel and make sure that somebody could provide for me and that they made me that. Of course, some of us just got independent spirits and we want, like you said, you want to be able to take care of yourself. At least that's the bare minimum for
Yeah.
everybody, man or woman. But if they again go to there, especially if you 35 and you feel like, okay, I just ain't got no options. I don't know what's wrong. Learn yourself, figure out what your traumas are, heal from those things so that you can be wide open for the next man that comes in and that you can put yourself in the best position to get the best person that's for you. So, like you said, you can have a partner because that's what it's about. But too many times I think we're responding and reacting off of how we were raised because at the end of the day, we are who we were raised. I mean, we are how we were raised, whether that's good, bad, or indifferent. And a lot of things are stemming from how we grew up and what we saw and what we were taught, and we're moving in that. Sometimes it's that you're exactly how your parents are. Sometimes you want to be the total opposite. Either way, that don't make it mean that it's a good thing. But I know that was my situation. So no, I really never thought about marriage, even though I came from a household that my mom already has always been married. Now she didn't marry my father, she married my brother's dad when she was pregnant with me. And so I grew up with the man in the house always. They got maybe divorced at I was 10, my little brother was 2, and then she got married maybe when I was about 14 to my now stepfather. They're still married till this day. And so I've always known a man and a woman, marriage, but I never saw it as I got to get me a husband because again, I was looking at it from a whole nother window. Like, I don't want nobody to,
Yeah.
be telling me what to
I
do and
mean,
I can't do what I want to do.
that's a delicate balance, and I'm the way that I've heard that a lot. To
Mm-hmm.
where, because the man provides everything and the woman doesn't have to work, then you should just take whatever. Which really isn't the case. I'll tell you how my grandfather did it and how my father did it. Um my father and grandfather paid the vast majority of the bills. My mother and my grandmother were able-bodied, and my grandfather always said that, if you're able-bodied, you should contribute something. I'm going to pay the vast majority of the bills, right? But you need to work just in case
Mm,
something may go left. Something, I'm saying, to where I need you to step in, where if I'm having a bad month or a bad year, I need you to be able to kind of, I'm saying, handle that until I get back to where I need to be, because those are relationships. Life has ups and downs. But I also think that, when you don't want to handicap yourself by, saying I don't have to work, so I'm gonna just be happy,
right.
with not working, and I'm gonna deal with whatever this man gives me. Because that's not a relationship. That's more like,
No.
it's damn near slavery. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I definitely feel where you coming from on that. You know, there is hope for the women out there. There
It
is
is.
hope. There are still, good guys out there that have had all of their fun already. Personally, I done had all my fun. I'm trying to retire my jersey. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
my
So,
God.
for real,
Retired
it's
jersey.
going in the Raptors now. I'm Hall of Fame now. Okay, but but you know what I'm
You
saying?
are
I'm trying to send
crazy.
my joint. I'm trying to send my joint to the Raptors, man. And there's something that comes. I see the value in marrying a woman, and that's another thing. You got to
Hmm.
find a man that sees that value in marrying a woman,
Hmm.
because when you marry the right woman, there is value.
Hmm.
She's going to be able to calm you down and talk you off the bridge when you
Hmm.
about to lose it and spaz out.
Hmm.
She's going to be able to help you, and you rushing for work, you late, but your stuff is already ironed, because
Mm.
your wife did it for you. You already got your
Yeah.
your lunch packed. There it's just the little things that a wife does in that partnership to make his life easier. and
Right.
um and it's a lot of value in that. So I hope I wasn't too harsh, you know what I'm saying, but
No, you did a great job. And I think that you summed it up because I always do like my frankly the fact of the matter is. So frankly the fact of the matter is good guys out there. That's pretty much what the sum up is. It's guys out there. Ladies, if you didn't hear it, what Ross said, check your DMs. Matter of fact, you should do that right now and scroll
scroll
up
up.
and find that guy who you've been ignoring and give him a shot. And I always said that when I was single, I would date who was interested in me. And I know that's scary because people be like, "Are you serious?" And I'm like, "Yeah, at least because you don't know. As long as it wasn't somebody, I do believe you need to be attracted to the person. But
For sure.
sometimes attraction ain't just okay, only my type. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
If the nigga don't gross you out, then I think you should give him a shot. You know what I'm saying? If
yeah,
you ain't just
yeah.
disgusted by him, then you should give him a shot. And just go out one day. I am a person that loves a man's intellect. It's I say my husband is Jeopardy smart. I like a smart dude and a funny dude. And I can, the other stuff is, it ain't that serious. You get what I'm saying? But I
Yeah.
gotta be entertained. I can't be bored. And I need you to be smart, because if you go somewhere with me, I need you to be able to articulate what is
Yeah.
going on. And I don't need you
Yeah.
hitting that, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Every other word. Right. I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm gonna be just turned off to the max. So
Understandable.
find what that thing is for you, ladies. You have to find it. And this won't be, I hope not, your last time coming on. I have a proposal for you when
Anytime.
I turn the recording off that I'm going to shoot to you. Hopefully you're down for it. But guys,
Cool.
that is my time. Stay on, Ross. You and I are talking 1 second. That is my time. You guys know how I do. Until next week, I will holla at you all. Bye.